discussed equivalent versions of the postulate pi. And in that we have discussed here plate axiom. What is meant by the plate axiom? If you have given any line, let us consider this is the line, and if you take any point that is not lying on the line, let us consider this is the point. Then what is the axiom says here? Here you can such that you can draw a unique line that is parallel to the given line. That means here you know that if you have given any point, you can draw infinitely many lines. So here you can draw like this, and you can draw like this, and so many lines you can draw. But you can observe that only one line you will get, that line is parallel to the given line. This is the line they have given, and what is the line that is parallel? Which is nothing but this line. This axiom we call it as a plate axiom. And after that we have discussed about the legendary sum, which is nothing but what it states here. The sum of the angles in that triangle is always constant. That means that number will not change. And what is that value? Which is nothing but 180. The sum of the angles in a triangle is always constant, and it is equal to 180 degrees. That is the legendary sum. And after that we have discussed that if you take, there will exist a unique pair of lines such that they are equidistant to each other. That means here if you take any two lines, then you can observe that the distance between these two lines is always equal. So this is the next question we have discussed. These three we call it as an equivalent versions of the postulate pi. Up to that we have discussed. Now based on all these, so up to now what we have discussed here in the Euclid geometry, we have discussed about the definitions of the Euclid regarding the line, point, plane, surface, line segment. These all we have discussed. And after that we have discussed about the axioms, and after that postulates, and after that equivalent versions of the postulate pi. And based on all these concepts, now we are going to study about the exercise 3.1. Now we will solve exercise 3.1. So here, see the first question. So here, exercise 3.1, first question, this one, you can do it as a homework, just I will explain. So here, answer the following. Here they have given questions which is nothing but 1 mark questions. Just you need to write the answers. So, how many dimensions a solid has? We have already discussed what is meant by a solid. A solid is nothing but it is having a stream, it is having some shape, size and position, and we can move from one place to the other place. That is nothing but the solid. And what they asked is in the question, how many dimensions a solid has? You know that a solid has 3 dimensions, which is the length and the breadth and the height. Right? So if you see here, if you consider the solid, you can observe that it is having some length and the breadth and the height. So you can write it here, the 3 dimensions of a solid are length, breadth and height. So how do you write? You can write it here. There are 3 dimensions in a solid. They are length, breadth and height. And after that, see the next question. How many books are there in Euclid Elements? How many books are there? 13 books. So, and after that, the third question. Write the number of faces of a cube and a cuboid. So here, you know that here the cuboid. What is meant by cuboid? Cuboid is nothing but you can consider here. If you place a rectangle over rectangle, that means if you take a stack of rectangles, you will get a cuboid. Similarly, if you place one square over the other square, that means a stack of squares, you will get a cube. So you can consider here some example. Suppose you know that this book is an example of the cuboid, right? Because here you know that each paper is in the form of the rectangle, right? It is in the form of the rectangle, and if you take one more paper, it is also in the form of the rectangle. And if you keep rectangle over rectangle, rectangle over rectangle like this, you will get a cuboid. So this book is an example of the cuboid. Now let us consider this as the cuboid. Now what is the question asked here? Find the number of faces of a cube and a cuboid. So you need to count the number of faces. Faces is nothing but how we are able to see here. How I can see this book? I can, if you suppose, I can see this book in this side, 1 face, 2 face, 3 face, 4, 5, 6. I can see it any side, right? So is sum of the interior angles of a triangle? You know that by the legendary sum, the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is always constant and it is equal to 180 degrees. So you can write the answer as the sum of the interior angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. Now the next question. Write three undefined terms of geometry. We have already discussed what are the undefined terms in the geometry, which is the line, plane and point. So you can write it here. The line, plane and point are the three undefined terms in the geometry. We have discussed here what is a line. A line is that which has no part, right? So we can define a point such that a point is that which has no part and in that part is not defined. Similarly, how you can define a surface? A surface is that which is having the length and breadth, and in that you don't know what is meant by the length and we don't know what is the meaning of the breadth. By taking the physical models of the examples, we are defining that one. So many mathematicians, they thought that this line, plane and the point, these are the three undefined terms in the geometry. So you can just take what are the three undefined terms in the geometry, which is a line, point and a plane. Just write it. And see the second question now. State whether the following statements are true or false. Also give reasons for your answer. This one also I hope you can do it as a homework. I will explain. Just you need to state the statement is true or false. So write it here, this one. I will explain. Now see the second question. So what they have given here, only one line can pass through a given point. So what is the statement given here? If you take any point, that means this is the given point. So what they are saying here, only one line can pass through the given point. That means you can draw only one line through this point. Is the statement true or false? It is false. You know that here, while discussing Playfair algebra, we have discussed, if you take any point, how many lines you can draw? You can draw here, many lines you can draw passing through this point. So here, what they said here, if you take any point, you can draw only one line. So this statement is false. You can draw infinitely many lines. So write it here, false. So what is the first statement? Only one line can pass through a given point, which is the false statement, because if you have given any point, you can draw infinitely many lines passing through that point. Now, see the second one, all right angles are equal. You know that what is this one? It is a postulate 3, right? So all right angles are equal. You know that all right angles are equal and it is equal to 90 degrees. And we have discussed this one while discussing about the postulate. So, see the third one, circle with same radius are equal, and it is also a true. You know that this one also we have discussed while discussing about the postulate. And we can describe the circle if you have given if you know the center and the radius. And suppose if you have given 3 centimeters, they ask to draw the circle by taking 3 centimeters of the radius. So let us consider, you can draw like this. So you give here, let us suppose this is 3 centimeters, and let us draw again one more circle by taking the same radius. And you know that here these two are equal. So what they are saying here, circles with same radii are equal, which is nothing but the true. And the next question, a line segment can be extended on both sides endlessly to get a straight line. This is also a true statement, because here if you take any line segment, what they are saying here, if you extend that line segment on either of the sides, that means you can extend this side and you can extend this side. Like this, if you extend, it will go on like that. It does not have any end. So we can say that what you will get if it does not have any end. You know that if a line segment does not have any end points, what you can call that line segment? We call it as a line. So that what you will get a straight line. Now, what is the statement they have given here? A line segment can be extended on the either sides to get a straight line, which is nothing but the true, because here we have took one line segment, we have extended on both the sides, so that what you will get? You get a straight line. So you can state it here, this statement is true. Now the last one in this, what line segment. You need to say whether it is true or false. If it is true, you need to state the reason why it is true. So here clearly you can observe that this AB is nothing but this total length. That means the whole length, right? And after that AC. What is the AC? AC is a part of AB. This is the total AB, right? And what is AC? It is a part of AB. That means this is one part of AB. And you know that the whole is always greater than the part. This one we have discussed while discussing about the axioms. From that axiom, you can state it here, AB is greater than AC. So how you got this one? You know that the whole part, this is the whole part, the total part, right? In that what you are taking some part, which is nothing but AC. This is the sum part. You know that the whole is greater than the part. So this will always be true. That's why we call this as an axiom. From that axiom, you can state it here, AB is greater than AC. So this statement is true. So now see the third question. So first question and the second question, these two questions you can do it as a homework. I have explained now. Now see the third question. So what is the third question given here? In the figure given below, show that the length AH is greater than AB plus BC plus CD. Here they have given one line segment. In that line segment, you need to show that the length of AH is greater than the sum of the lengths of AB, BC and CD. This condition you need to show, but clearly you can say that that condition is possible, but you need to state by the axioms and the postulate which axiom we are applying there, so that we are proving this condition. So that like that you need to prove. So let us draw here what is the line segment given. So here this is what we need to show in this line segment. So what we need to prove here, AH. Again, this is the whole part, the total part of the line. You need to prove here this part is greater than the sum part, which is nothing but AB plus BC plus CD. So here you know that the whole is greater than the part. That means if you take this whole part, this part is always greater than the small part, right? And you know that this whole part is always greater than the whole is always greater than the part. From that you can state it here, AH is greater than AB plus BC plus CD. Now here let us take here AB, BC and CD. So what is AB? This one, this is AB, right? And what is BC? If you take one more point and if you join, you will get BC. And what is CD? If you take one more point and if you join this one, you are getting CD. Here you can observe that we have stated things which coincides with each other are equal to one another. That is one of the axioms we have discussed. Things which coincide with each other are equal to one another. That means here, if you take this total part is always equal to AB plus BC plus CD, right? So I am drawing here separately. This is AB and this is CD, and here this is BC and this is CD. Let us suppose these are the three different things. Things is nothing but here line segments, right? So if you take these things which coincide with each other, that means I am taking this line segment and I am joining here. I am coinciding with each other, right? By that axiom, if you consider the length of AB, BC and CD separately, and if you add these three line segments together, you will get this one, the total length, which is AB. And by that axiom, you can state that, which is, what is that axiom? Things which coincide with each other are equal to one another. From that you can state it here, AB plus BC plus CD is nothing but AD. Now you got it here, AD. So here, in place of this one, you can write it here, AD. Here, by seeing the line segment itself, you can say it here, AH is greater than AB plus BC plus CD. Everyone knows this one. But here, you need to apply the axioms and the postulate, and you need to show this condition is possible by that axioms. So here, write it here, things which coincide with each other are equal to one another. So from that you can state it here, AB plus BC plus CD is nothing but AD. Right? From that axiom you can state it here, the sum of the lengths is equal to AD. So here what we got it here, and you know here in place of AB plus BC plus CD you can write it here AD. Now what you got here, what we need to prove here, AH is greater than AD. This is possible because you know that AH is nothing but the total part and AD is nothing but the sum of the part. So you know that the whole is greater than the part. From that axiom you can state it here, AH is greater than AD. So here again write it here, since the whole is greater than the part, therefore what you can state it here, AH is greater than AD. AH is nothing but the whole part, this is greater than the sum part, which is nothing but the AD. This is the solution of this problem. Now see the next question. Fourth question. So what is the fourth question given here? If a point Q lies between the points P and R, that means here let us consider one line segment P and R, and what we are saying here, a point Q is located in these 2 points such that PQ is equal to QR. That means here, what is the meaning of PQ is equal to QR? That means here PQ, the length of PQ is equal to the length of QR. This will happen when Q is the midpoint of PR. If you know that the length of PQ is equal to length of QR, you can say that this Q is the midpoint of this line segment. So here, from that condition, what we need to prove here? We need to prove here PQ is equal to half of PR. So write it here, what is given here? Given that PQ is equal to QR. And here, what we need to prove? We need to prove here PQ is equal to half of PR. So here this one we need to prove here. Again here, if you want to prove this one, you need to apply either the postulates or the axioms. So here, let us consider here the total length of QR. So write it here, since QR, how you can write PR, the total length you can write it as PQ plus QR, because if you add this line segment and this line segment, you will get the total line segment. So in place of PR, you can write it here PQ plus QR. So write it here PQ QR. This is what the line sequence, so write it like this. And in the question itself they have given here PQ is equal to QR. So in place of QR you can write it here PQ. So write it here PQ plus PQ. Right? Because it is given. They have given here PQ is equal to QR. So in place of QR we have written here PQ. What is the value of PQ plus PQ, which is nothing but 2PQ. So write it here 2PQ. What is there here? PR. Now what we need to do here? We need to do here PQ is equal to half of PR. So let us consider here PQ and take this to this side. Here multiplication is there. If you take to this side, it will become division. You will get here half of PR is equal to PQ. This is what we need to do. Again, what is given here? The total line segment which is given as PR. That one we can write it as PQ plus QR. And they have given here these two are equal. So in place of this one we have written PQ. So that you got it here 2PQR. So this is the proof of this problem. In the next session we are going to solve the remaining problems from this exercise.